When the golden confetti settled on the America's Got Talent stage back in 2017, the world thought they knew the ending to Angelica Hale's story, a young girl who cheated death and became a superstar. But as we sit here in 2026, our investigative team has uncovered that the miracle narrative might have been the very thing that almost broke her. For nearly a decade, Angelica has been the face of resilience, but the transition from a pint-sized powerhouse to a 20-year-old woman in the relentless glare of the spotlight has revealed some uncomfortable truths. Tonight, we're looking past the viral clips and the standing ovations to examine the reality of a star who has spent more time in hospital corridors than most people spend in school. Is she truly the invincible talent the media portrays, or is there a silent crisis brewing beneath the surface of her 2026 comeback? The answer isn't as polished as her high notes, and it starts with a move that many insiders warned would be her undoing. It's the ultimate dream for any vocalist, but for Angelica, the bright lights of Broadway in early 2026 became a magnifying glass for her deepest insecurities. After landing the pivotal role of Trisha in the critically acclaimed Boop, the musical, the industry expected a flawless transition, yet reports from the rehearsal rooms suggested a much more turbulent experience. This wasn't just about hitting the notes. It was about the grueling schedule of 8 shows a week, a pace that would challenge the healthiest of veterans, let alone someone with a complex medical history. Our sources indicate that the psychological toll was immense, as she fought to prove she wasn't just a YouTube automation favorite or a sympathy vote from her childhood. She was constantly battling the fear that she wouldn't be good enough, leading to a period of intense self-doubt that almost saw her walk away from the production entirely. The pressure to maintain that perfect survivor image while navigating the cutthroat world of New York theater created a difficult environment. While the audience saw a rising star, those behind the curtain saw a young woman carrying the weight of an entire legacy on her shoulders. The shift from singing 3-minute covers to carrying a multi-million-dollar production has changed her, and not everyone is sure it was for the better. But as she pushed through the curtain calls, a much more physical threat was beginning to manifest in the background. While her Instagram feed was filled with opening night flowers, a much grimmer reality was unfolding in the private wings of a major medical center. In the last few years, the narrative around Angelica has conveniently skipped over the SHT that comes with being a lifelong transplant patient. As of 2026, it has been over 13 years since she received her life-saving kidney from her mother, but the expiration date on such a gift is a conversation most fans aren't ready to have. Recent whispers from medical insiders suggest that 2025 and 2026 saw a series of quiet hospitalizations that were never officially publicized. The truth is, the threat of organ rejection is a shadow that never truly retreats, and for someone with Angelica's history of sepsis and multiple organ failure, a simple infection can turn into a life-threatening situation in hours. We've learned that there were moments where her team was forced to juggle performance dates with emergency checkups that were anything but routine. She has had to face the terrifying possibility of needing a second transplant, a process that is significantly more complicated than the first. This constant, near-miss existence has shaped her adulthood in ways the public can't imagine. She isn't just practicing her scales. She's monitoring her vitals with the precision of a surgeon. The question remains, how much longer can her body sustain the demands of a global career when her biology is a ticking clock? And just when you think the medical side is the only conflict, the prying eyes of the internet found a new target. As she moves further into her 20s, the public's obsession has shifted from her health to her heart, and the results have been anything but respectful. For a girl who grew up in the wholesome bubble of reality TV, the transition to being a romantic interest in the eyes of the internet has been jarring. Throughout 2026, paparazzi and fan sleuths have been exposed to glimpses of a mystery man frequently seen by her side, sparking a firestorm of speculation that has occasionally turned toxic. This isn't just innocent gossip. It's a relentless invasion of privacy that has forced Angelica to build walls she never needed before. The comments sections are often filled with people who still view her as that 9-year-old girl, leading to a strange and sometimes uncomfortable dynamic where the public feels they have a say in who she loves. We've seen reports of stalker-like behavior and digital harassment aimed at her inner circle, proving that the price of child stardom is a debt that never gets fully paid off. Balancing a budding relationship with a fanbase that feels they own her story has led to a noticeable shift in her personality. She's become more guarded, more clinical in her interactions, and far less likely to share the raw moments of her life. The girl who used to tell everything to the camera is slowly disappearing, replaced by a professional who knows that every SHT she posts will be dissected by millions. This loss of privacy isn't just a nuisance. It's a fundamental change in how she views her future in the industry. If you think you know what Angelica Hale sounds like, the 2026 release of her latest project, Water and the Moon, will prove you've been listening to the wrong version of her. Working under the guidance of industry titan David Foster, Angelica has undergone a vocal reconstruction that has shocked longtime followers. She's no longer chasing the Whitney Houston power ballad tropes that defined her AGT run. Instead, she's leaning into a soulful, darker, and more technically complex sound. This shift wasn't just an artistic choice, it was a necessity. Years of high-intensity singing combined with her medical history meant her voice had to evolve, or it would break. The revealed truth behind this new sound is a story of grueling vocal therapy and a total reimagining of her instrument. She's moved away from the belting that made her famous, opting for a style that protects her vocal cords while showcasing a newfound maturity. Critics are calling it the rebirth of a legend, but the path to this point was paved with failed recordings and frustrating sessions where she had to relearn how to breathe. This 2026 era of her music isn't about being the miracle kid anymore. It's about being a serious artist who wants to be judged on her merit, not her medical records. She is finally shedding the skin of the child star, but the industry isn't always kind to those who try to change their brand. As she fights for this new identity, she's also taking on a role that many celebrities shy away from, and it's her most dangerous one yet. While other stars are focused on brand deals and fashion weeks, Angelica has spent 2026 exposed in a very different way, as the raw, unfiltered voice for a community that is often forgotten. Her work with the National Kidney Foundation hasn't just been about posing for photos, it's been about showing the ugly side of survival. She's been vocal about the reality of life after a transplant, including the mental SHT that comes with knowing your life depended on someone else's sacrifice. In a series of 2026 town halls, she addressed the terrifying statistics of organ failure among young adults, using her own scares as a cautionary tale. She's spoken about the accusations surfaced in the medical community regarding the lack of support for post-transplant mental health, a topic that hits close to home for her. She isn't sugarcoating it anymore. She's talking about the days she wanted to give up and the times she felt like a science project instead of a person. This advocacy has made her a hero to millions, but it's also a constant reminder of her own mortality. By becoming the face of kidney health, she's ensured that she can never truly escape her past. Every speech she gives is a revisit to the time she nearly offed herself due to medical complications. It's a heavy mantle to carry, but it's the one she's chosen as she looks toward a future that was never guaranteed. As we look at the woman she has become, the question is no longer will she be a star, but how long can she keep the flame burning? Angelica Hale's 2026 journey is a masterclass in the complexity of the human spirit. She is a woman of contradictions, a Broadway star who fears her own voice, a medical miracle who lives in the shadow of a hospital wing, and a private soul living a very public life. The Golden Girl of 2017 has grown up, and the world is finally seeing that the miracle was never just about the voice. It was about the grit it took to keep that voice from being silenced. As she stands on the precipice of her next decade, she leaves us with a haunting question. Is it enough to simply survive, or must we constantly reinvent ourselves to be worthy of the life we were given? Whatever the answer, Angelica is no longer waiting for a golden buzzer to tell her she's enough. She's writing her own script now, and for the first time, she's the one in control of the ending.